AM 590, KXSP Omaha's ESPN Radio. It's time for the Metro's only racing talk show. The Front Stretch, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs. Now, here's Dan Taylor and Buddy Ray.
Good morning, race fans, and welcome to the Front Stretch, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs, online at joeskarting.com. Don't forget to head over to joeskarting.com, karting with a K, and find out more information about this Best of the Best challenge that Joe's is launching. Starting the first Monday in January, happens to be January 5th. It's going to be a 30-minute endurance race for the best 20 drivers of the previous month. Go over to joeskarting.com for more information about that and how you can be involved in it and win yourself a ton of free races just by being the best of the best. joeskarting.com, that's karting with a K. As always, we continue our roll through the dirt track conversations. We're talking to dirt tracks throughout the community, as well as the Legends of the Dirt Series. Coming up later in this hour, we'll be talking with Roger Rager, who was a legendary sprint car driver in the area. Dirk Houston joined us to help do that. Also, John Walsh, weatherman from Action 3, a big local dirt race enthusiast. So he came in the studio to talk to Roger, and we had a great interview. He was probably one of the funnier interviews that we had all season long. Roger just didn't hold back, and you're going to want to make sure and pay attention because, like I said, he didn't hold back. He's a good old boy, and that's the kind of interviews we like to do. Joining us in the studio today is the man, the myth, the legend behind everything at I-80 Speedway, Joe Kosiski. Joe, I appreciate you joining me, sir.
Not a problem. I don't know why we have to get up so early in the morning to do this.
It's fresh.
It's fresh, okay.
I should say, it always bothers you when I say you're the man, the myth, the legend behind I-80. There's a lot of people that go behind the scenes at I-80 that help you do that. And I talked to a couple of people off the microphone last week as we were doing interviews, and a lot of praises for your brother Steve for the work he does on that track, and a lot of praises comes to your family for all the hard work you guys put into it over the last couple of years, and I appreciate all your help with the Legends of the Dirt Series that has gone on so great so far, and the Playland Speedway still to come, that show that we got to do down at Quaker Steak and Lube in September. But let's talk I-80 Speedway. I want to start off with I-80's tentative schedule. Still racing Friday night NASCAR schedules?
Yes, sir. Friday nights will be our NASCAR weekly racing series. Our schedule starts off practice on April 2nd with our spring meltdown. We'll have the Nebraska 360s, the MLRA late models, and the A-mods will be there, all with bigger purses than usual. That will be on Friday, April 3rd and Saturday, April 4th. In fact, I think the MLRA is at $2,000 and $5,000 to win. The Nebraska 360s is $2,000 to win each day. And the modifieds is $1,000 and I think $1,500 or somehow like that for their two races. And then our opening point night will be April 24th. The last Friday night of April will be our opening point night. There's a week in there, May 1st, May 8th time that me and Steve have got some meetings, and I got to take some of my employees, and we're going to be out of town. I don't know which date it'll be, but I'll probably have to take off one of them weekends because without a guy to be able to do the track, they can do without me. All I got to do is make schedules, make sure everything's going on, but they can't do without the track prep guys. So we'll have to see what happens there. We haven't decided if we're racing on that date. That's what's taken us a little bit of time to get our schedule out. And then we'll be back, back in May with some weekly racing. May 22nd is going to be our Wheeling NASCAR night where the fire and safety and everybody will be recognized and get them in, to have their free night. We send a lot of tickets to the fire departments, to all the local fire departments, local police departments. If one of you is out there, don't get local tickets for that date, please let us know because we just missed the address is all that happened. We try to do the best we can. And then on Sunday, May 24th, will be our Charlie Clark. Speaking of the Charlie Clark Memorial.
I love that race.
That's a great race. Yes, that's a great one. So,
can you tell me, because I am kind of perplexed, what is it about that specific race the drivers just get up on the wheel about? Because it's been, 3 years I've seen that race?
You've probably seen
all 3 years. I mean, it's been hands down the best racing in I-80. I mean, those local boys get up on the wheel for that race for some reason.
I think what causes it, we have a big purse. A lot of people want to win it. It's a well talked about race now. It's I want to say that you make I want to say it's close to $5,000 if you win both segments, or $4,000 if you win both segments. Which is a good 1 day pay anywhere in the country for A mods, you know. And the B mods pay like $1,000 to win, and the stock cars and hobby stocks, you know, or sprint cars and hobby stocks are there. The 360 sprinters come that night. You know, we usually have a good race that night for them. It's just a great race night. You got a good feeling. And then the next day you're off work. So, you know, it's one of them Sundays that you can come in. We have a good race day, and it just flows. It's a great weekend, and I believe it's going to be that good again this year.
I think I'd wager some money that it's going to be. It pulls in some great local talent, and I think it was last year that Jesse Sobbing and Kyle Burke battled pretty hard for the win, and it came down to just simply one position or two positions by the end of the night, because Jesse won the first segment and Kyle won the second segment, but Kyle ended up winning it overall. Yeah,
I don't remember which one won it overall, but you're exactly right. It was almost like it was a tie, but because we called whoever finished the best in the second segment was the winner. Mm-hmm. I think they ended up tied in the points over the two, and I think you're right. I think it was Kyle or was it Dylan Smith that won it overall? One of them guys, I mean, they was in there and had a great battle and kept it going. So, you know, that's a good one. We come back on June 5th, which is just a couple weeks later. June 5th, we get World Outlaw 410 sprinters, you know, the World Outlaw sprint cars. Last year, that was a great race, three abreast racing. I mean, we had three different leaders there that passed, and it was magnificent. We come back with a couple more weekly shows, and I don't want to downgrade the weekly shows because I'm not talking about them as much. We have some more NASCAR. You know, we have our driver appreciation in there. We've got some more good NASCAR events coming up. Last year was our 30th year with the Pro-Ams. We're going to try to do a couple special events for the A-Mods in our NASCAR weekly racing. And, you know, and a lot of people ask the question, do you have to be NASCAR licensed or NASCAR sanctioned in order to race some of them special races? And the answer is really no. For the lower classes, anything but the late model, you can buy a $25 license and race 3 Friday nights in a row. Mm-hmm. I mean, you know, is that really a penalty? I mean, you know, to me, it's awful cheap. If you got $1,000 to win race that gets thrown in there in your class, or an $800 to win and you're a B mod and you're used to racing for $300, pay the $25, come out and have a good time.
What about any changes to the rule books for 2015? Have you kind of? I know it's tough. We're not even in January yet, so you probably haven't even really started thinking about the rules.
I've got most of it about ready to come out.
Okay.
For the lower divisions, the super late models, I've got a few more tweaks yet, but for the lower divisions, I've got that about handled. That's getting real close to being done. You know, we're going to change our tire rule just a little bit in a couple of the classes, and it's just about done. I mean, to get back on the schedule, June 26th, we have our Alphabet Soup Race, which is 360 sprinters, MLRA, and A-Mods, I believe, is on the June 26th. And I could be wrong on that June 26th. I know it's one class, and it may not be A-Mods that night, because I believe we come back on Sunday, June 28th, with our June Jamboree, which I know the A-Mods run there. So I'm not for sure if they run with that 26 without having a schedule laying right in front of me. I'm kind of going off of memory on most of this. Friday, July 3rd, we've got it scheduled as of right now. If I don't need to have the extra show for NASCAR, or if I'm getting by without a lot of rainouts, I probably will cancel that. I like to let the guys get out, go be with their families, call it a good weekend, let them enjoy themselves for the July 4th weekend. You know, that's the one where everybody wants to go to the cabin and have family time. You know, it gives them that week off during the year. You
want to leave right at Friday at 5 o'clock and get the heck out of Dodge.
There you go. There you go. We'll come back on Friday the 10th with a NASCAR show. Then we get into the 17th, the 16th, we start out our Silver Dollar Nationals. We'll have the Nebraska 360s, the SLMR, and we usually run B mods with them. And that will probably stay with that same program on Thursday the 16th. And then the Silver Dollar Nationals is on the 17th and 18th. This year we've added a race on the Friday night, the 17th, and I think it's going to be kind of exciting. It's we're calling it the Chase to the Silver Dollar Nationals. And people says, well, how do you got it? Why do you call it the Chase to the Silver Dollar Nationals? And I kind of set up a format that we're going to take, it's going to start 16 cars. Mm-hmm. And the 16 cars are going to come, the 3 winners of the the 2 winners of Spring Meltdown and the Alphabet Soup, which are the 3 MLRA winners. The winner of the Thursday night SLMR Series winner, that'll be 4. We're going to take 4 that made points in them 3 MLRA races, because I want everybody to come and try to, you know, I want the Simpsons and the Eckridges and the guys to get in this race, Phillips and the guys coming from down south. I want all them to try to get in this race if they don't win one. So that'll get us 8 cars, and then I'm going to put another 8 in between the SLMR and the I-80 Speedway regulars. So we'll have the whole field filled up when we're all done. It'll have 16 cars. On that Friday night of that qualifying, which is already a good night watching the heat races with all the Lucas Oil cars. These guys will then line up for a feature at the end of the night, and we're going to go 3 6-lap segments. And I kind of got that out of the chase. NASCAR done their chase, and I thought it was going to be kind of a cool idea. So we're going to start with 16 cars. We're going to run 6 laps. The 4 last place cars, they're going to get paid $200 or $300 a piece, but they have to pull off the field.
Yep, $200 each, I believe.
There you go.
For the first elimination round.
Yep. Then we're going to run another elimination round, 6 laps. 4 more cars are getting eliminated. They're going to have to pull in and they get $300 a piece. Does that sound right? You're right. Probably looking at it there on the computer.
Yep.
And then the 8 cars are going to go out and race, and I'm trying to get a sponsor for that right now, and I'm getting pretty close. It may end up being more than the $2,000 to win that we have posted. Okay. Right now we've got about a $10,000 purse for them, 16 cars when it's all done. But it's $2,000, I think $1,200, $1,000. So it's a pretty good purse. The guys are going to race hard for it. I'm trying to get a sponsor that would tell us that they would, put up a $3,000 to $5,000 to win. If you get up there big enough, we're liable to get on that Thursday night show. We're liable to get some of them Lucas Oil guys last year. The 91 car, and I can't remember his name right now. I know he's out of California, but he ran with us. You get a few of them guys that might just throw the restrictor plate on and run the SLMR show in order to try to get that feature win so they can get in that race because it pays plenty the Friday night. So you never know how it's all going to work out. But
they're going to be there anyways. They might as well try to race and win some money.
I would think so, I
mean, tow's $200. That's not bad.
Yep. And something we've done with that, L-Belt Custom Homes, puts up the non-qualifiers race. And that pays $3,000 to win. So we figure all the local guys, they've got a chance. If you don't make the race, you still got a chance to make $5,000 over them 2 days and not even be in the actual Silver Dollar Nationals race, So I think that's a pretty good compliment to the weekly racers and the guys that we want to really make sure they come and try. I'm trying to press them to come and try. Don't give up before it starts. Come out and try. If you don't make it, you're here with the rest of them.
If you want to kind of follow along to this a little bit better, go to dirtdrivers.com, go to the message boards, I-80 Speedway, and the chase to the Silver Dollar Nationals. Lee posted a big breakdown of it about how the whole payout will work, how the winners will get qualified where, and all that kind of fun stuff. So that should answer a lot of it. Otherwise, give Lee a call. It's always fun to talk to Lee down there at the Kosiski Auto Parts in the I-80 office. All right, what's left on the schedule?
Left on the schedule, we come back the 24th with the NASCAR race. Then we come back, this year they've got the National Sprint League, 410 sprinters. We come back and we're going to run them on the 31st of July.
Okay.
Haven't decided which classes we're running with them yet, but we're going to run them on the 31st of July. Then we go from the 31st of July. We're off on the 7th. I'll probably run on Sunday night, the 9th. I'm trying to put that's, if I recall right, Lee's got me lined up there. I believe it's the 9th is National Health Day, and we're trying to do some stuff with the hospitals and maybe start racing like at 4 in the afternoon. Late enough that the track, Steve thinks he can keep the track good, and start at either 4 or 5, so we'll be out of there before 8 o'clock and try to do something with the hospitals and patients and everything for National Health Day.
Okay.
And that would be on Sunday the 9th. We close on the 7th and 8th for Delmer out in McCool Junction. He runs a big MLRA race that weekend, and he's always closed for us on our Silver Dollar, and I try to work with the racetracks that work with us, and that's been a deal we've done with them ever since.
Okay.
We come back with our NASCAR weekly racing from the 14th to the 28th, and then on Sunday, September 6th, is our NASCAR Final Point race. And at the NASCAR Final Point race, we run the Bobby Parker Memorial, which has the 360 sprinters. And Dennis just talked to me the other day. He may want to move that Bobby Parker Memorial to the Cornhusker. We done it last year, and we had a great turnout. And he said, maybe we should just do my dad's memorial on the October race. And I says, well, we can do that if you decide. So we haven't decided, but we'll still run the 360s with our NASCAR weekly championship night. We always have a little bit of fun with that championship night and our lineups and our starting and qualifying for it. So it has a little bit of fun there. And we come back on the 17th, 18th, and 19th is our Midwest Fall Brawl, the 360s. That's the one last year we had the $50,000 point fund, and Wayne Johnson hit it from over in Oskaloosa, Iowa, and went home with a little over $60,000 that weekend. Man. And, I'm trying to get the insurance policies right now so I be on top of them. I'd like to pay the $50,000 again. I can't pay $50,000 out of my pocket.
Right.
But, if I can get the insurance policies, we'll pay the $50,000 again. When it's hit 2 years in a row, they're talking a little bit.
Well, there's one thing insurance agencies don't like to do. That's pay out.
Yeah.
And they've had to pay out now $80,000. Well, more than $80,000 because
Dover's was 20 and
Dover's was, I think it was 36.
Was it 36? I don't
think
remember.
so.
Maybe it was $25,000 bonus.
I think it was 30 plus
bonus?
contingency.
Okay.
So I think it was 36, so it nearly $100,000.
Yeah, and it gets hit the first 2 years we do it. So I'm having a little bit of a time trying to get that. I will get at least 20 or 25. I know I can get that much without a problem.
Okay.
It's to get to the 50,000 is what I'm having the question on. But we're going to have the Midwest Fall Brawl for the 360 sprinters. I love my 360 sprinters. I know the 410s is the hot thing right now. If it all works out, I don't want to lose my dates for my 360 Midwest Fall Brawl, and I may keep it if the 410s work out. How do you say it? Thank you, God, for giving us, such great racing in this part of the country, So we'll have the Midwest Fall Brawl the 17th, 18th, and 19th. We're off on the next weekend, and the weekend after that we come back with the National Sprint League for their final points races, and that'll be on October 1st and 2nd. And we're trying to come up with a little bit of special on that. And what my plan is, if I can get these insurance companies work with me, but the actuary says they have nothing to actuary on the National Sprint League. What I'm trying to do, what I was coming up with, and to get it all really happening, is I wanted my Midwest Fall Brawl to pay $50,000.
Okay.
I wanted the National Sprint League, the last two races, to pay $50,000, and if somebody could come in and win all four of them within that 2 weeks, to pay another $50,000.
Wow,
that's what I'm trying to buy the insurance on that I'm not getting a yes on.
$150,000 potential payday.
Plus, what they would win by doing that would be they'd be just shy of $200,000.
Jesus,
yeah,
there's no other race that pays that, right?
The Knoxville Nationals pay right there.
Okay.
The Dream for late models pays $100,000 to win. It paid $1 million one time. Earl Baltz wanted to do it one time, and he paid $1 million to win. I always said, if I ever won the Powerball, I'm going to have $1.01 million to win at least, just because it'll take a long time for the next person to get better than that on dirt racing. But the week after our final finale for the National Sprint League is our Cornhusker Classic. And last year, I think you was there, Dan. Mm-hmm. We ended up on Saturday night with 297 cars. It was a great night. We had 360 sprinters. It took a little long. We started at 6 o'clock. We didn't get over till 1:15. I was a little disappointed in the time frame, but I'll tell you what, when you run that many cars, it was amazing. Them guys were in and out of the pits. Everything was great. And, when you run sprint cars, it usually takes a little bit longer. You got to push every one of them to start. If they have a yellow or red, you got to push them again.
There was a couple of red flags that night, too. And there were some long red flags because there was a fire and it took some, so there were some things that were out of your control. But, I agree. I thought everything ran really smooth as far as getting cars in and out for the heat races and the features.
Right. And that's what we're kind of hoping for, and, hoping everything just works out to flow right through the season again. We had a very successful last year. We are losing Mark Wyman this year. Bill Baldwin's going to come on board to help us out with the SLMR Series and probably help me out some of the local races. We've got some SLMR races actually scheduled at the same day that we're running on the track, like on July 31st. An SLMR race is going to happen up in Rock Rapids, Iowa, and then they're going to stop at Raceway Park on the way home the next day. So, here we're going to be racing at I-80 with the National Sprint League, and the late models are going to be up at Rock Rapids racing, and it's kind of hard because I like to be where my race cars and everything's at, but I gotta do what's got to be done right. And that's what needed to be done for both of them.
I-80speedway.com for more information. You can catch all the information once it's posted, probably on Dirt Drivers, and then on I-80speedway.com. Joe, always love having you in the studio.
Thanks, Dan.
We'll talk to you soon.
You bet.
We'll be back on the front stretch. Ron Sutton, just around the corner from Boone County Raceway. We'll talk 2015 for Boone County Raceway.
This is Andrew from Kosiski Auto Parts. Kosiski Auto Parts is an insurance-quality used parts supplier that can match your foreign or domestic car or truck needs. If you have a damaged or broke-down car or truck, we guarantee a clean and quality part in next-day fashion. Kosiski Auto Parts, your neighborhood premium recycled parts supplier. Call any Kosiski Auto Parts salesman today by dialing 402-731 4592 or visit us at 5040 I Street in Omaha. Kosiski Auto Parts. Our quality used parts will match your car or truck's needs.
Are you ready for fast-paced, adrenaline-pumping, wheel-to-wheel racing right here in the Metro? Get to Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs and see what it's like to race real go-karts. Joe's Karting knows it's no fun to race go-karts at 10 miles per hour, so they ripped the governors out, and now the only restriction is how good you are at racing. It's full-throttle, white-knuckle racing every day of the week. Head over to joeskarting.com for hours, prices, and specials, or give Buddy a call today and set up your group races at 712-256-5278.
We're working the high line into turn 2 on the front stretch, presented by Joe's Karting, online at joeskarting.com.
Welcome back to the front stretch, heading into turn number 2, and it's time to talk to one of the local dirt tracks, semi-local over in Boone County, talking with Ron Sutton about the 2015 season. Ron, we appreciate you taking the time out of your day to talk to us.
Well, thank you for calling.
Just wanted to kind of talk to you real quick. I know the announcement, you and Corey are the new promoters at Boone County Raceway, so we wanted to kind of talk about, is there going to be any changes that you can foresee for 2015 for drivers that were there in 2014? So there are going to be any changes that you're going to put into place as the new promoter at Boone County?
No, not really. We're just going to try to keep it the same as they ran last year. We're going to run 6 classes. The Sport Compact, Hobby Stock, Free Stock, Sport Modifieds, and the Modifieds will all be IMCA sanctioned. The late models will not. We're working with the new Norfolk track on rule packages so that we're kind of running the same rule package in the late models.
Looks like you guys are going to be kicking off your season on April 17th. It's going to be kind of I like the way you called it, it's a play day from 7 to 10, so it's kind of a test and tune day?
Yeah, that's right.
And then the formal start of your season is April 24th, and then it runs through August 14th, which is championship night. Can you talk about some of your big races you're going to have in between there?
Well, we're going to try to keep it simple this year. This is our first year promoting the track. My daughter, Amanda, will be the race director. She's been there for a couple years, so she's familiar with the surroundings there. Really, our big race is going to be the Boone County Fair race. In past years, they've gone with sprint cars or the SLMR, but the board members had asked me if we had different ideas. We had lost a racer a couple years ago who was actually the defending points champion, Shane Tom, and I threw to the fair board a possibility of maybe running a special since it didn't work out last fall, and then this spring there's conflict with dates to run that race, to run it during the Boone County Fair race. So that's what we're going to try to do. We're in the process of trying to put things together for that with the fair board. They'll be pretty much promoting it. I'll be helping them out.
And that race you're talking about, the Shane Tom Memorial, tentatively set for Tuesday, July 14th at the Boone County Fair for the Boone County Fair races. And then any kind of specials? I know you guys are taking off July 17th to help out with the Silver Dollar Nationals. Are you guys going to have any special races? Maybe the SLMR Series, the Nebraska 360s, any of those?
As of right now, no. We're just trying to keep it simple. Our first year, just learn as we go. Try to get through the first year. Possibly next year we can look at some specials. But this year we really want to try to keep it simple.
Looks like you're going to be running limited late models, modifieds, sport mods, stock cars, hobby stocks, and sport compacts, all IMCA sanctioned. Excuse me, I should back up. Is the late models IMCA sanctioned?
No, they are not.
Okay, so those will be an unsanctioned series. What kind of points or rules packages are you looking at for the late models? Are you going to copy the IMCA formula?
We've kind of put some packages together to where you can run the 2 type of crate motors, the 602 or the 604, and also with the spec late model motor rules, the limited late model motor rules. So it's actually a large package. There'll be some, of course, with some of the motors that are making more power. Of course, we'll have to add some weight and stuff on the motors, the spec motors, and that we're probably going to be looking at running a restrictor plate to just try to equal out the class. The biggest thing is try to work with Norfolk and the other tracks in the surrounding area to keep this class alive. Hopefully we'll be able to have a few more cars run over in Albion and support that series.
Where can people go to get those rule packages that you're talking about for the late models?
Right now there's just a couple weeks that we have to do on the late model package. Hopefully within a week or so we'll have it on our website. I have a gentleman in Albion Alvin that runs that website. I just send him the information. So it's under the Boone County Raceway.com. So there's a website there. It'll be listed under there. I just have not finalized the rules.
And then you guys are on Facebook, Boone County Raceway. Boone County Raceway.
Well, actually, we're going to have to work that out. There's actually I know there's a Boone County something that has a picture of the raceway. That is actually not the track. I'm not sure who that is. We will start a new Facebook page. It has not been done yet.
Okay.
We are, but we will also be on Dirt Drivers.
Yeah, and that seems to be the best place to go to. You guys have your own message board on there, and you've been posting some information pretty handedly. Friday night racing, was there any consideration about switching nights? Or I know kind of your theme as far as taking over was, let's not rock the boat the first year. Let's continue the way we've been going and then maybe make changes in 2016.
Yeah, that's correct. I just really, Alvin has ran the Friday nights for so long, and with the schedules with the other tracks in the area, it would have made it difficult to run any other night. So it really works best right now. I don't see in the foreseeable future changing anything in regards to nights of racing or anything.
Go to dirtdrivers.com, click on Boone County Raceway, Nebraska in the message board. I'm looking at your tentative schedule, and I noticed that June 19th is Father's Night, and then the next week, looks like you guys are going to do lawnmower races during intermission. How did that come about?
That's the brainstorm of my youngest daughter, Paige. This is actually her birthday, so she wanted to do lawnmower races, and of course my daughter Amanda kind of took off with that and talked to a few people, and I guess there's quite a bit of interest in that. So we're going to put a small track in the inside of the field there where we'll run that in the infield of the racetrack, and so hopefully we'll keep it short and simple, but we'll have some lawnmower races, so it ought to be quite interesting.
The way these drivers and the way they could be competitive, you may have to roll out a rules package for that race.
We are actually in the process of doing some kind of rules package. I'm sure everybody will tweak them. It'd be amazing what they'll probably try to do with them. So.
All these guys, they love living in the gray area, don't they?
Yes, they do.
They'll go and put a V8 on a John Deere mower if it means they can win a race. I don't care if they spend $10,000 to win 100.
It ought to be quite interesting. Just hopefully everybody is safe.
That's June 26th, again, at Boone County Raceway in Nebraska. Looks like a couple of dates you've taken off as Mother's Day. Are you guys going to take that off or just run a special night that night?
We're just going to run a special night. Really, the main days we're taking off, if I have it correct, is the Memorial Day weekend, that Friday of Memorial Day weekend. And then we'll also be taking off on, looks like the July 10th and July 17th, which are the Fridays before and Fridays after the Boone County Fair. It's just something we worked out with Fair Board so that we could run this one large special. So hopefully we'll get a good car count. We'll get, fill the stands with the fans and bring some cars from not only in the surrounding area, but also some surrounding states, and hopefully we'll have a good show.
BooneCountyRaceway.com is where you can go to get more information on the 2015 schedule, the class setup, the rules packages. Once those get posted in the next couple of weeks, you can also get information on Dirt Drivers. Ron Sutton, we do appreciate your time and talking to us on the front stretch, and best of luck in 2015, sir.
Well, thank you. Thank you for calling.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be back in turn number 3 to continue the Legends of the Dirt Series. Roger Rager is just around the corner here on the front stretch on AM 590, Omaha's ESPN Radio.
Max I. Walker has been providing great service to the Omaha area for nearly 100 years. With 23 convenient locations, it's easy to find a Max I. Walker near you. From dry cleaning to laundry to uniform rentals, Max I. Walker is here to make sure you look your best. Max I. Walker has been a proud supporter of local dirt track racing since 1974. From Sunset Speedway to Adams County Speedway and legends of the dirt like Dave Chase, Glenn Roby, Ron Tilley, and so many more. Give Max I. Walker a call today or head to maxiwalker.com.
Are you ready for fast-paced, adrenaline-pumping, wheel-to-wheel racing right here in the Metro? Get to Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs and see what it's like to race real go-karts. Joe's Karting knows it's no fun to race go-karts at 10 miles per hour, so they ripped the governors out, and now the only restriction is how good you are at racing. It's full-throttle, white-knuckle racing every day of the week. Head over to joeskarting.com for hours, prices, and specials, or give Buddy a call today and set up your group races at 712-256-5278.
Time to grab another tear-off and make your move. We're headed into Turn 3 on the front stretch, presented by Joe's Karting.
Welcome back to the front stretch. Heading into turn number 3. It's time to kick off week number 6 of the Legends of the Dirt Series, brought to you by Kosiski Auto Parts, online at Kosiski.com and located at 51st and I Street in Omaha. We're going to move to a little bit different of a driver. Typically, you know, we're talking to a lot about some late model drivers, and now we're going to talk to a big sprint car driver, Roger Rager, from Lincoln to the Brickyard. Roger, your career has spanned quite a few miles and quite a few wins. Can you talk to us a little bit about how you got started in racing?
Well, my grandfather built tractors, mini tractors, back in the early 50s, and I was the demonstrator for him at 3 years old. I was at the New York World's Fair, driving women around in fur coats at about 3, and then I went to go-karts at about 6, and then I had a late model, what was actually a jalopy, really, at the age of 14, and my folks didn't even know I had it. And a friend of mine towed it for me with a tow bar because we didn't have a trailer. And then I started drag racing at 16. And then at 18, I started racing at Beatrice and Fairbury, Nebraska. And when I had bought a car from Max Schlegel, actually, who was a racer from Lincoln from years back. And the car was fine because he wasn't winning with it. And when I bought it and started winning, they outlawed the heads that were on it. So then I went to Midwest Speedway and raced it, which it was just a modified, and I was racing against, fuel-injected sprint cars and fuel-injected modifieds. And so that lasted one season. And then I ended up with a fuel-injected sprint car at the age of 19. And started out there. That's how it all came about.
You raced at Eagle for a number of years, if I remember correctly, against some of the best, Saldana and Opperman and Goodwin and all those guys.
Oh, you bet. You bet I did. You bet.
Roger, a couple of times I've heard stories of tracks and officials and even sanctioning bodies coming out with rules kind of geared at one driver because he's utilized a gap maybe in the rule book and he's winning so much. Not necessarily that it's cheating, it's just that he's found a niche. Was that outlawing the headers that you used? Was that a rule set in place because of your success or just bad timing on your part?
Well, the success was we were using Canadian aluminum heads, and like I said, they were fine when the other guy had them because he wasn't winning. But when I started winning, then all of a sudden they were outlawed. So that forced me to go from Fairbury and Beatrice to the Speedway there in Lincoln. And so then we raced there for a year, and then we changed motors and put in something that was a little more tough, and they were still racing out there at Midwest with reduced carburetors in some of the cars and kind of old cars and stuff. And I did that for part of a season. And then a guy in Lincoln, Nebraska, who was a family friend and who had raced at Daytona Beach in a stock car, said, "Hey, kid, do you need something better?" And so he gave me the choice. He said, "I'll tell you what I'll do." He said, "I'll either buy you a sprint car or I will buy you a brand new late model, and Tiny Lund will be your mentor."
Wow.
Well, which was the first biggest mistake I made in racing. I should have went to the NASCAR thing. But I wanted to go throw dirt just like my dad did,
Yeah.
And when you look back on things, there's always ifs and buts and candy and nuts, but Christmas is every day,
Yeah.
And I wish I'd have went to the NASCAR deal, but I didn't. I went to the sprint car thing, and it didn't hurt me. I had a NASCAR license in it'd be 81 or 82, and when I got to Daytona, I was supposed to drive a late model at Daytona that they had raced in a ARCA race or some damn thing, and they blew the thing up, and it got everything from the radiator to the rear cover plate of the rear end. So they were fixing it when I got there, and it was raining, and it was by the time they got the car all back together, and there was 15 minutes left of practice for the 125 qualifiers for Daytona. Well, I walked around this thing, and back in 80, 81, there's so many jagged pieces of sheet metal hanging off of this thing. I thought to myself, I'll get another opportunity to do this. which I never did. But I figured, you know what? I mean, I had raced some late model and stuff, and was actually I raced at the Nebraska State Fair in a late model, and come from, because the way they started that race was by points, and of course I had no points, so I started dead last and was running second, and the car in front of me broke or quit or something, and I hit him in the ass and put a hole in the radiator. Otherwise, I'd have won the thing, you know. But that was kind of my late model experience. I never did really get into it. And then, you know, I went to South Africa and raced for a while, and was captain of the race team over there. And
wow, tell us about that.
What was fun? And so I raced in South Africa for about 3 months, and then I came back, and I had this opportunity to go to Pennsylvania, so I did that. And when I came back from Pennsylvania, after racing against those guys out there, I was in the Knoxville and Nebraska and North and South Dakota and Iowa. That's pretty hard to beat because them guys out there were really tough. And I ended up winning the championship at Knoxville for the point championship and second in the nationals. Then the following year, I went to USAC and started racing with them boys, and I had a chance to drive a mini Indy car. I had a chance to drive midgets, sprint cars, champ dirt cars. I ended up, by the time I was all done, I ended up in 7 Hall of Fames, led the Indy 500 for a couple laps. I mean, it was a great career. You know, I ended up in the Sprint Car Hall of Fame at Knoxville, and the Knoxville Hall of Fame, and Minnesota State Fair Hall of Fame, and the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Hall of Fame, and
wow,
that was
Lincoln
a real.
there. I'm in Lincoln, Nebraska, and 2 Hall of Fames there. So
I don't think you should regret your choice.
Wow.
That doesn't sound like you have much regrets.
I think you made the right deciin, don't you?
Well, yes, no.
You could have gone the other way and ended up on a milk carton.
Well, yeah. I only quit racing, you know, about, what's it been, honey, 6 years ago now.
Really?
Like 6 years ago now. And, you know, I had won the Minnesota track championship 2 years in a row and went back to racing champ dirt cars and stuff. And, you know what? The way I feel right now, if I had went to NASCAR, I could probably still be running NASCAR.
Roger, you talked about all the accomplishments and all your big wins. What is your favorite memory in your racing career?
I don't know. That's hard to say.
Is it leading those couple of laps at the Indy 500?
Not really. I had some big sprint car wins, and one time I had never been on a mile dirt track before. Never been one. And we were in, I think, Springfield, Missouri. And I'm talking to Eddie Levitt and Opperman and all these guys. And I say, how do you know where to let off? And they said, well, you drive down to this pole here going into one, and you back out of it, then you get back on it. So I thought, well, okay, that sounds pretty good. So I'm down there watching them, and it was my turn to go out and qualify. So I'm in the car, and I get down to that post. Well, it doesn't seem that fast. So I forgot to lift. So I go through 1 and 2. I have yet to even squeak the pedals. So I go into 3, and I thought, you know, maybe I better make sure the linkage is still working. So I squeaked the throttle there and got right back on it, came around, did my lap, came in. Everybody's running at the car. Oh, hell, I'm one to unbuckle, get out of it. I think things on fire. They said, you just set a new world record for 1 mile dirt track.
Wow. Is Knoxville a tough... Go ahead, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Is Knoxville, is it the track that makes it tough to drive, or is it the competition that races that makes it tough to drive?
Well, if you want to race Knoxville and win, you better be carrying 2 helmet bags. One for your helmet and the other one for your balls. Because otherwise you're not going to get it done. And racing, to me, you have to have the adrenaline rush to say, okay, here I am up against the fence. This guy's sliding up. Can I make it? You know, can I gas past him? If you don't have that adrenaline rush, you might as well stay home.
What kind of track do you like to race at? Do you like the short tracks, a tacky track, a slick track, a speedway? What kind of track suits Roger Rager the most?
Well, I guess I like to run something that's got a cushion, because I was always kind of a fence runner.
Mm-hmm.
Like Danny Lasowski, we call him Catfish because he's a bottom feeder. and I always like to, I kind of patterned myself after Nick Sutcliffe and Sutcliffe, Beckman, Rayleigh, Goodwin. I tried to take something from all of those three guys and develop it for me. One of them was really smooth. One of them was a fence runner. They all had different traits, and you could follow them on a track, especially Knoxville, and figure out what they were doing and figure out what worked best for them. And I tried to develop myself into each one of those three drivers. So Rayleigh Goodwin came to me one time, and he said, Rager, this is when I was first starting. And he said, Rager, drive a race car and you throw a baseball. And I'm trying to think, well, what's he trying to tell me? Well, at that time in my career, I would drive into that corner and, just as fast as I'd go and throw that thing sideways and scrub off a lot of speed. I finally figured out what he was telling me. And once I started driving it smoother, straighter, I went faster,
Mm-hmm.
And Beckman, he was always, he was a family friend forever. And Sutcliffe, he was a wild man that ran the high side and never crashed. So, and I always figured, you know what? Closer I'm running to the fence, if I do crash, I'm not going to hit it near as hard.
Same way Richard Petty looked at it.
Yep, exactly.
Yep.
We're talking with Roger Rager for the Legends of the Dirt Series. Roger, we're going to take a break, let you get a drink of water, catch your breath. We'll be back in about a minute to continue our conversation as the Legends of the Dirt Series rolls on. It's the Front Stretch on AM 590, Omaha's ESPN Radio.
We have all been there before. Broken car part in your hand and some snot-nosed punk behind the counter has no idea what he's talking about, but he guarantees that this part will fix your car. You pay an arm and a leg for the replacement, get it home, and sure enough, it doesn't fit your car. Now, learn from your mistake and give an experienced salesperson at Kosiski Auto Parts a call today at 402-731-4592. Kosiski Auto Parts will get you back on the road with your arms and legs still attached.
Are you ready for fast-paced, adrenaline-pumping, wheel-to-wheel racing right here in the Metro? Get to Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs and see what it's like to race real go-karts. Joe's Karting knows it's no fun to race go-karts at 10 miles per hour, so they ripped the governors out, and now the only restriction is how good you are at racing. It's full-throttle, white-knuckle racing every day of the week. Head over to joeskarting.com for hours, prices, and specials, or give Buddy a call today and set up your group races at 712-256-5278.
Get ready for the victory lap as we make our way into Turn 4 on the Front Stretch. Presented by Joe's Karting. Online at joeskarting.com.
Heading into turn number 4 here on the Front Stretch. The Front Stretch, as always, brought to you by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs. Online at joeskarting.com. Head over to Joe's Karting today and get the holiday hours. The newly renovated joeskarting.com. Well, we're continuing our Legends of the Dirt series brought to you by Kosiski Auto Parts. They're online at kosiski.com. They're on Facebook. They're also out at I-80 Speedway all summer long and all spring long. And then you can catch them at 51st and I Street. Great place to go to when you get into that fender bender. And then you get the body build that it's going to cost you, $1,500, $2,000 to get your fender replaced. Here's the simple shortcut. You can go over to Kosiski Auto Parts, talk to Andrew, tell him your make, model, and VIN number. Those are important because those help you track down the exact fender that you need. You take that fender off the yard, take it over to a body guy, and you've saved yourself several $100s in going and finding, and the body shop doing it for you. You do a little bit of the legwork, and you're going to save yourself a lot of money. Kosiski Auto Parts, 51st and I Street in Omaha. We roll on, again, with the Legends of the Dirt series. And Roger, I was talking to you off the air. You said that your nickname was Radar. How did you end up picking up the nickname Radar?
Well, because anytime somebody spun or there was a crash in front of me, it seemed like I could get through it without getting stayed. And so all of a sudden, Larry Snyder from Lincoln, Nebraska, Snyder Fiberglass, who I drove for occasionally, unfortunately, he nicknamed me Radar, and it just always stuck. And so that's, I mean, it's a pretty simple story, but that's kind of what happened.
We've heard a lot of people say that when it comes to racing, they would rather be lucky than talented. Is that kind of the same thing you fit in, that you were kind of lucky and avoided some of those wrecks, and it helped you out a lot with your career?
Well, yeah, I was lucky, but let me put it to you this way. Right now, I'm 66 years old. I can put a pencil behind my ear and bend over, and when that pencil falls out, I catch it before it hits the ground. Now, you tell me what it is.
Yeah, dang, I can't do
reflexes. It's reflexes.
Yeah.
What it is.
That's something you can't teach somebody. Is it something that just you're born with?
Yep.
Because if you could teach it, it would be great if you go teach Danica Patrick how to miss wrecks. I like the girl. I think she's great, but she seems to be involved in every wreck, and some of them you're just like, you didn't see it coming?
And none of them are her fault. That's the amazing thing.
I can't understand why she doesn't go back to Indy cars where she was better. Exactly. Same with, what's his name that won Indy, that was driving for Penske here for a while. I can't even think.
Are you talking Sam Hornish?
Sam Hornish, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he was great in Indy cars. Yeah. And I think it's a case of maybe self-preservation and how much longer you can race stock cars, NASCAR versus Indy cars. That's the only thing I can come up with because he was great in Indy cars.
Well, come on, Roger.
Danica better in Indy cars.
Danica doesn't have a second helmet bag. Okay.
No. She's got a 2-inch trailer ball.
I'm glad I'm not editing this show.
Hey, tune in next weekend to find out if the front stretch is going to be back on. This is all golden stuff. I don't know if it's... I'm going to have to send my program director on a vacation so he doesn't hear this show.
Hey, Roger, tell us about your high-dollar adventure at Indianapolis where you had your low budget and you made the race, and like you said, you led a couple laps, and it was terrific.
Well, I'll tell you something. The way that deal started out was in 1979. USAC said they were going to try and pass a rule to legalize stock block Chevrolets. So I bought an Indy car for $2,500. $2,500. A 1968 Eagle IndyCar. I actually raced that car. Actually, if you look back at the 79 race, I actually qualified with a 1968 Eagle.
It wasn't a die cast, was it?
Huh?
It wasn't a die cast, was it? I would think you'd get much of a car for $2,500.
Now listen to it. I bought this thing from Ray Smith Speed Shop, who I was driving a sprint car and champ dirt car for, and he had a 3 old Indy cars. So I had somebody on the inside of the USAC meeting to call me if it passed. Well, it passed. So I bought this thing from Ray before he even knew it had passed, $2,500. So then I built some motors. I had a big total of about $8,500 per motor, 2 of them, and I actually raced the car and finished 8th at Milwaukee with it, and I actually qualified at Indy with it. Well, that's the year that everybody was cheating the boost. Okay, so here I am qualified. So the guys that got bumped got to go back and re-qualify and cheat the boost with the washer under the pop-off valve. So the guys that didn't make the race gained 4 and 5 miles an hour. Well, there was no way for me to cheat. So that's the year, instead of starting 33 cars, they started 35 cars. Well, guess what? I was 36. Instead of starting an even back row, they left one space open. I understand why they did it. They couldn't have a rookie that had never driven at the Indianapolis 500 in a 1968 Eagle qualify, So then I understand that, it's a political deal. Just like we got Obama and who the hell wants him. So anyhow, in the next year, I spent a total of $45,000 to buy a used race car that they had set off in a corner, and we made our own drive shaft, we made our own bell housing so we could get the motor further ahead in the car. We used the same motors that we used in 79 and 1980, went out and qualified 10th quick, beat the cars, both cars, from the team that I bought the car from. I was getting a lot of help from them until I beat them qualifying, and that was the end of that deal.
All of a sudden, they weren't answering their phone.
Yeah. They didn't want to play no more. So, but anyhow, that's how it happened, and we were able to lead it. And then McElreath, who we were lapping for the fourth or fifth time, spun in front of us, and he hit the outside fence, and he started coming down across the track. And I looked in my right rear mirror, and here I got Gordon Johncock and Tom Sneaver right dead on my butt, right on my right rear corner. So I really didn't want to go up, because I figured, well, I'll crash them, or one of them. And so I started heading down, and to keep from growing McElreath, T-boning him and probably maybe killed him and me too. Just as I cleared his nose, my left rear tire got off in the grass and spun it into the inside guardrail. So that was my Indy experience.
We're talking with Roger Rager, known as Radar. Roger, if not racing, what else do you think you would have done with your life?
Oh, I don't know.
Car salesman.
Could have been a hooker, I guess. I don't know.
Well, I hear it's good money.
You've never had a shortage of confidence, have you?
No, I own a resort up in Minnesota, and we've got 80 sites up there, and about 75 of them are full, and it's a seasonal RV park. And people come and just leave their trailers there year-round, and it's kind of fun because I can make all my money in 6 months and go to Florida for 6 months.
Nice. There you go.
Did you ever get any other offers from the IndyCar set, especially after your success with what they thought was inferior equipment?
I drove 23 different Indy cars from 1976 to 1983, whether it be tire testing, shakedowns for other guys. I got so good at it that guys would say, would you jump in my car and take it for a lap or two, and see what you think. So, I had some. My biggest problem was the USAC parts split in 1980 and 81. CART went one way, USAC went the other way. Well, what they did is they gave themselves more boost in their motors, which made my motor basically obsolete. And so I went with USAC and not with CART. And that was basically a career killer.
Yeah.
If I had went with CART, I've had more than one chief mechanic tell me that I would have been driving for one of the best two teams in the sport.
Wow.
And so Rick Mears ended up with them. And so the story goes on from there.
Is that a big regret for you?
Yes, it is. Very, very. Very, very, very.
Well,
I should have played the game, and the problem is, I've never been a yes man ever in my life. I've always said what's on my mind, and
I totally believe that.
Is that true? Really? I never would have guessed that.
Every head in the room popped up when he said that.
Hey, Roger, does it bother you that dirt track guys now are looked over when it comes to
oh yeah, I know what you're going to say.
Yeah,
it's all money. We got guys driving Indy cars that have no business driving Indy cars. And the thing that pisses me off the worst is now, we can build our own cars. We can build our own motors, Now they're like a kit car. They might as well have the owners up there on a high box driving them with remote control. It's ridiculous.
That's an interesting idea.
There's no innovation in IndyCar racing anymore. None.
Could you say that somebody that came up through the dirt track ranks made him a better racer once he made it to the asphalt? Is there a correlation?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They're racers. They're not from the wine and cheese set that are driving them now.
Oh, they learned the car control. You got your Tony Stewart, your Jeff Gordons,
Casey Kane, Kyle Larson,
Schrader,
Kid Schrader. Yeah, there's a litany of NASCAR drivers that track their origin directly back to dirt.
And every guy that you just mentioned, I raced against, including Jeff Gordon when he was 14.
Did you beat him?
Yeah. Oh yeah. As a matter of fact, I did. He was still learning.
Good.
What are your thoughts on Steve Kinzer? He's retiring now, or he's going to slow down. Steve Kinzer, your thoughts of him? He's always been known as...
You know what?
Yeah.
I'm about 5.5 miles from Steve Kinzer's house as we speak.
Really?
Well, go over and tell him hi for us.
Yes.
Tell him to read his...
race car driver.
Yeah.
I remember when he started. The first time I ever raced against him was at Terre Haute, Indiana, at a USAC race, and he was driving a red number 49, I think. And I thought to myself, when I saw him race, I thought, this kid is going to be something else.
Yeah.
You know, just like this Kyle Larson. He's going to be the next big thing in NASCAR, or one of them, along with what's his name kid that just won the
Chase Elliott
nationwide deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a kid you've been seeing maybe down on the dirt level that, you know, maybe you've seen at the local tracks around you, or you've seen them on TV that you think they're about ready to make their big move?
You know what? When I quit racing, I quit looking. If it isn't on TV, I don't see it.
That's basically the thing Kent Tucker said.
Yeah.
I quit taking all racing papers. I quit taking racing magazines because it just drives me nuts.
Is it because you're not out there racing anymore that
exactly.
you essentially don't have? It's just kind of rubbing it in your face that you've got to be retired now.
Yep. And the only reason I am retired, actually, or the biggest reason is the sponsor that I last had for the last 6 years I drove sprint cars, which was Donahue Harley Davidson. He told me that as long as I wanted to race, he would sponsor me. Well, when you get to be, in your early 60s or late 50s, if you don't have somebody that'll stick with you, the rides you can get after that point are crap,
Right.
And he decided he wanted to quit,
Yeah.
So when he quit, I quit, and that's basically the only reason I quit.
Well, let's say somebody came to you today and said, "We will put you in anything you want to, and race it one time, one race."
Yep.
What would that be?
Yep, NASCAR.
It'd be NASCAR, Sprint Cup,
Really?
Sprint Cup Series. Would you entertain the idea of racing a truck on Eldora?
You bet. Oh, hell yeah.
Hey, if Ken Schrader and who's the guy that flipped off the other driver at the inaugural one a couple of years ago?
I don't. Kenny Schrader and I used to travel together.
Yeah.
He'd pick me up at the airport. I'd fly in from Minnesota. He'd pick me up at the airport in Indianapolis, and we'd travel together. But yeah, I would definitely try a truck in a heartbeat.
Roger, we do appreciate your time. We've gone over, and we got to get to our next one. So we do appreciate you coming on tonight and talking to us. Have a great Thanksgiving, and have a good night, man. We appreciate the entertaining interview.
You too, guys. Have a good one, and check out that 2-inch trailer ball.
Thanks.
Thanks, Roger.
Take care.
Oh, Roger Rager, known as Radar.
Boy, you're going to have to do some cutting there, boy.
The tough thing is I can't take it out because then it takes away all the.
Oh, yeah.
That was some good stuff. All right.
Can you believe he's never been a yes man?
I heard Charlie's interview last week.
Yeah, Charlie Schwartz's interview from back at the beginning of November, the end of November, actually, on the 23rd. If you missed that interview, you can go over to the Joe's Karting YouTube page, check out the week number 1 of the Legends of the Dirt series. November 23rd interview we did with Charlie Schwartz, and Steve Francis was just as entertaining. These guys are good old boys. I love talking to these guys, and especially I think Roger's my favorite so far. We'll be back next weekend with Ray Gus Jr. to join us to celebrate the new year and to continue the Legends of the Dirt series, which is always brought to you by Kosiski Auto Parts. We appreciate you taking the time out of your Sunday to join us. Have a safe and happy holidays, and be careful on New Year's. Let's not have anybody getting in any dumb accidents because of a mistake you made New Year's night. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll talk to you next weekend. This is The Front Stretch on AM 590, Omaha's ESPN Radio.
Max I. Walker has been providing great service to the Omaha area for nearly 100 years. With 23 convenient locations, it's easy to find a Max I. Walker near you. From dry cleaning to laundry to uniform rentals, Max I. Walker is here to make sure you look your best. Max I. Walker has been a proud supporter of local dirt track racing since 1974. From Sunset Speedway to Adams County Speedway and legends of the dirt like Dave Chase, Glenn Roby, Ron Tilley, and so many more. Give Max I. Walker a call today or head to maxiwalker.com.
Are you ready for fast-paced, adrenaline-pumping, wheel-to-wheel racing right here in the Metro? Get to Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs and see what it's like to race real go-karts. Joe's Karting knows it's no fun to race go-karts at 10 miles per hour, so they ripped the governors out, and now the only restriction is how good you are at racing. It's full-throttle, white-knuckle racing every day of the week. Head over to joeskarting.com for hours, prices, and specials, or give Buddy a call today and set up your group races at 712-256-5278.